Hi guys, hope you're well. My name's Sam from Website Right, and I wanted to talk to you today about the things that I need from you as a potential client in order to create a website, because the more information I have from any client, the faster a project can run. Now, obviously it doesn't always work smoothly whereby a person just comes along and gives me everything I need and I get on with the job. 4 days later the website is done. It's always a slow process because sometimes I need to ask for various requirements, access, information, photos, you name it. So I wanted to give you a list of 16 things that can really help a web design project fly. So the first one is access to the domain registrar. So that's 123reg, GoDaddy, LCN, names.co.uk, wherever you registered your domain. It's really handy for me to have access to these particular areas because sometimes I might need to set up some test website development space, or when it comes to going live, I'll have to change your DNS to point to my server or to point to the live site. Similarly, the email facility works by changing the DNS as well, so I'll have to change your MX records. I don't want to get too complicated earlier on, but if you've got a website and you've got a domain, I'll need access to that domain name in order to change a few things with regards to your website. Number 2 is all appropriate logins. Give me them, it would be really handy. So if you're not hosting with me, you might already be hosting with a company, and I'll need cPanel access because that will provide me with access to your files and your database. Similarly, if you've got an existing WordPress website, it'd be really handy for me to have access to that website because I might need to transfer from data from the old site to the new site. So it'd be really handy to get all your logins together so I can get on with the job really quickly. Number 3, those are your third-party services. So, for example, I recommend the use of Google services such as Google Analytics, Google Search Console, and also creating a Google business page. And for all of those, you need a Google account. Now, I can set them up for you, however, it requires me to put in your phone number, your date of birth, all sorts of things like that. And then when you go through the motions, there's a verification text. And of course, you get that text. I need to know the number. So it would just save a lot of toing and froing if you can get your own Google account. Now, this can be registered under a Gmail account or your own email address, or even, if you've got a website that I'm designing, yourname.co.uk, you can have admin at yourname.co.uk. But I just do need an account created already because it certainly helps speed things up. Number 4 is to show me your competitors. I'd love to see their websites, and also it's great to see the kind of websites that you like the look of too. Now, be wary that when you show me your competitors, I can't just plagiarize content and just, hey, I'll use that image and I'll have that. I'll have to recreate the images and reword them. So if you can provide me with the wording, the imagery, the colour scheme and everything you need, then I can certainly use their ideas if they're feasible for you, that is. So always show me your competitors. Number 5 is deposits. Now, I take a deposit 50-50 usually, 50% in advance, 50 on completion. It certainly helps with regards to cash flow for me because sometimes I'll have to buy various templates, themes, plugins, SSL, all sorts of things like that, even stock photography. Now, there have been a couple of occasions where I've started a website project and I've bought everything and they've cooled off and I've not heard from them again, which leaves me short. So, 50-50 seems to work, fairly well. And also it kind of, I get some people that seem really, urgent that they want a website. Sam, can you get this website done for me? I'm like, yeah, of course. And then when it comes to payment, not so much. So if they put the money down on the table, it kind of makes me realise, okay, they're really wanting to get this job done ASAP, great, and I will match their enthusiasm and get the job done as quick as I can. So if you've got a deposit payment to pay it, and then the job will begin ASAP. Point 6, that's to be flexible. You may have something in your mind with regards to how you would like your website to look. For instance, one of my clients recently, and she won't mind me saying this, she had a website that I designed geared towards a children's product, and she thought it'd be a great idea to have a website in the style of an iPad or an iPhone, but for that you'd be needing to use perhaps frames and it wouldn't be overly good and certainly not that accessible on mobile devices. So I said, look, I think it's a cracking idea and it would work, but on the web not so much. So try to be flexible and take the designer's advice. Obviously, I'll incorporate as many of the things that you would like on your website as possible, but if it isn't quite right, I will let you know, all right? Number 7, be wary of timescales. Now, sometimes I'll start a project and it'll be fine, and then I'll need some content from you, and I'll say, look, can we have about us page and an info page or a services page? Obviously, I can't write your company's information for you. Well, I can, that's a service I offer, but you know your business best. So once you've come back to me with the content, maybe it'll take a week, 2 weeks. Just be wary that during those 2 weeks, I'm not just sat twiddling my thumbs waiting for you to write that content and send it back to me. So when you do send it back to me, I'm not necessarily going to be ready to upload it to your website straight away. So all I just want is if you can communicate with me throughout the process and just let me know, okay, Sam, I'll have the content to you by, say, Friday. That's brilliant, because I can put that time aside, no problem at all. However, without that communication, I don't necessarily know, so I will be working on other things. So constant communication is great because it will enable me to plan my time better to hopefully fit your timescales. Number 8 is to plan the amount of pages that you want. Now, I know this is not always easy, but usually a website is a home page, about us page, services page, maybe a testimonials, contact us page, usually 5 or 6 pages. But if there are any extras, just have a think of the processes that you want to go through, because it's kind of like building a house. Say you've got a lovely house being built and then halfway through, I'd actually quite like a conservatory on the back. Your builder's not just going to do it for the same price, it's going to cost more. I like to be as flexible as I can. If it's a small little add-on page that just uses a standard template with a load of text, that's fine, I'll add it on for you, no problem at all, at no extra cost. However, if it's major work, I will need to charge, so it's just really important for me to have that complete brief of all of the different pages that you need. If you need feedback forms or various functions on those pages, let me know, because all of it takes time to do. I don't want to burn myself out, and I don't want to also provide unrealistic expectations of time frame when of course I didn't realise that there are some more pages to produce. Point 9 is to know your message that you're trying to convey to your punters that visit your website. I mean, I consider myself a good marketer, however, you know your company best, and if there are various slogans, taglines, bits of text that you want to use to portray your message, great, provide them to me. If you've got specific phrases or sentences or words that you need on the call to action buttons, on your banners and various call outs within the website, let me know, because that's really handy. It saves me thinking of them for you, and then later on you saying, oh, actually, Sam, can you change that? Because if you give it to me from the off, there's less chopping, less changing, and less time will be spent doing those amendments. Point 10 is the information you do provide me with. It's really handy if it's structured. Don't hand it to me on the phone. Don't write it down. Don't maybe type it up but then take a photo of it and then send it to me, because I'll need to use OCR software to detangle it and all that kind of stuff. Just in a logical way, in a Word document would be fine. Page by page would be great. That way it's certainly easier for me to actually extract the content and place it on your page. It sounds really simple, but you wouldn't believe the amount of people that have sometimes sent me passwords to various things and they've taken a photo. So I've got to type the password word for word for what I think. Is that an 8 or a B? Is that an S or a 5? Those kind of things. So if you can have everything digitally, that really helps a lot, including your logo as well. Number 11 is to know your prices if you're an e-commerce shop. So I've had various situations whereby people have come up to me and I've added their products to the website, and then all of a sudden they say, oh, Sam, actually, can we have the price £2 more for this particular category? Or can we have an offer whereby if they buy 3 items they get the cheapest free? Or can we have a sale, please? We need to change all the items. It's just really handy for me to know all these things in advance, because any amendments obviously take time. So think about your prices, think about any offers that you want to have, for instance free shipping, think about your delivery rates as well, because although I can of course make the changes retrospectively, it just takes more time. And just if you've got a clear vision in your head, it does really help out. Point 12, make sure that all your images on your website are the same size. So if you've got a shop that sells t-shirts or whatever, don't take one picture portrait and then another landscape, because that doesn't look good. It looks all higgledy-piggledy, and it's very difficult for the person to come along and compare the two products when they're different views, different brightnesses. It's really good to have a uniform photo for all of your products because it looks clean and it looks nice. So if you're taking product photos, make sure you're using the same camera, using the same lighting, ideally all on the same day, and try to always get them from the same angle too. It really does help make your website look beautiful. Point 13, unlucky for some, the imagery on your website. Now, when you send them to me, you might be attaching them via email or using WeTransfer. That's absolutely fine. You can WhatsApp photos to me, that's all right, but beware that when you send a photo over WhatsApp, it naturally compresses the image. So the image you sent me is not necessarily the one that I will receive, because it will be compressed and smaller and the quality won't be as good. So email the photos to me and WeTransfer them if you can, but you know, you will be sending them, I assume, straight from digital camera. So ideally, if you can resize them to me beforehand, that saves me just editing them in Photoshop. So ideally between 1200 and 2000 pixels wide will be absolutely fine. And also I can brighten them, I can change the hue, I can put filters on them, but there are also websites where you can do the same in advance before sending them to me. I'll pop a link in the description of one of the ones that I really recommend. However, obviously photo editing sometimes can take hours, and it's just handy to have the images in exactly the way that you want them displayed on your website, rather than me rejigging them or cutting things out and putting shapes onto other shapes, because it takes time and it costs me money. So yeah, if you can do that, that'd be really handy. Point 14 is if you can keep things symmetrical, that would be great. So if you've been on these websites where you scroll down and there's 4 text blocks, maybe 4 images, and then underneath is a headline and then a text block. Ideally, the text block should be the same height and the same length, so the same amount of text roughly. The worst thing you want to have is, like in column 1, you've got a big long paragraph, and then in section 2 and 3 and 4, you've just got small sentences. If you can make the text as even as you possibly can, that really helps, because it just makes it look nicer. And then obviously underneath, unless you're using a masonry layout, which basically, you know, butts up the content on the next row to go as close as it can to the previous row, it won't look very good at all, and then you'll have massive white gaps appearing, and you don't want to be basically not using the real estate on people's screen. You've got to fill every gap you can, nicely of course, but yeah, make sure that the layouts you can have are evenly spaced, because otherwise it'll look awful. Point 15, nearly there now, and that's to leave the textual changes until the end. You may be going through and spotting little grammatical errors and, oh, can you change that word for this? Can you? Yeah, I can do that, of course, whilst the website's in development. However, sometimes it's just easier to have all of those changes on like a Word document or something, and then I can check it at the end, go through it and make all those changes at once for you, because it does take time to, you know, do those amendments, but I'd rather do them all at the end in one fell swoop. The main thing is your functionality and the usability and the positioning of stuff, because that's paramount. And once we get that sorted, the textual changes, for me, it's really simple to do. Click, change the text, edit, save page. However, doing them throughout the process sometimes can be not so great. And the final point is providing feedback. Obviously, I will show you what I've done, and then you can comment back and say what you think. And yeah, we can talk over the phone, which is fine, but I can't see it. We can do Skype, that's okay, it takes a lot of time. We can exchange emails where information can sometimes get lost, or we can use things like Wunderlist. But I tell you what, the best thing there is using screen recording software. There are ones called Camtasia, there's a one called Loom, which is brilliant, which it basically enables you to screen record and then speak and commentate over what you're clicking and what you're scrolling over. So I can see exactly what you're seeing, so I know what page you're on, I know what section you're referring to. It's so much easier than saying, oh yeah, on the home page, under the bit that's got the, you know, I don't really know where that is, so it's really handy just to see it on screen. Provide your feedback that way, and then I can feed back to you via video. You don't have to be a technical genius to use Loom. All you need is Google Chrome and then download a plugin. There's a really handy blog post in the description that actually details why I think using things like Loom are fantastic for providing feedback. So if you can do that, that speeds things up. It saves me being on the phone all the time to you and being online at the same time if we were Skyping or doing a conference call. So yeah, using that to feed back to me is also really, really helpful. Now, the last thing I've wanted to do with this video is to scare you off, because I know that I'm saying, okay, you need all this ready and then I can do the work. Chances are you might only have 3 or 4 of those 16 points done. It's not to scare you off, and I still encourage you to get in contact with me straight away. But all I'm saying is the project will last a bit longer whilst I basically nudge you for various requirements throughout the process. I don't expect any people to have everything ready. Maybe 1% of my clients would maybe in that position. However, if you know, the more points that you can fulfill, the better it will be. And basically, I'm just trying to help you get the project flying as quickly as it possibly can. So if you're able to go through those and complete as many of them as you can, fantastic, because that helps me out, it helps you out, and then hopefully your business will get online faster. And then you can start making money or doing whatever you do. So anyway, I hope you found those points really helpful. If you found this video helpful, use that word twice in the space of 10 seconds. Good work, Sam. Click the like button. That's really helpful. The thumbs up there. Said it again. And also do subscribe as well, because I provide these tips on a regular basis, especially with regards to WordPress, where I like to share all my hints and advice with you. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll certainly see you in the next video. All the best.